vast rocky slope opens in clear, deep water, reef rubble and gravel fading into blue darkness. Pebbles and sand ripples stay crisp in clear water, and drifting particles move slowly through cold stillness. Giant stonefish shapes emerge on gravel, moving slowly together with perfect camouflage and no gear in sight. Warty spines and thick lips fill the frame as several stonefish shift together along rocks in silence. 4 to 5 stonefish creep over gravel, fanning dust lightly while the group stays calm and untouched. 2 stonefish posture and flare spines near a rock, then separate without injury or any fishing gear. A moray head appears from a crevice, and a stolefish holds ground with spines raised in clear water. A moray lunges and snaps, and the stonefish pivots with spines raised as sand puffs rise and settle. Several stonefish move together across rubble as the moray retreats, leaving only drifting particles and calm.
Crew stages coil tubs and hauler controls, keeping hands clear while braided line feeds smoothly.
Heavy hooks and swivels line the station, built for abrasion and steady deep longline tension in cold seas.
Bait strips get rigged with consistent wraps, and puncture-proof gloves stay on for venom spine safety. Strict spacing stays enforced around rollers and pinch points, keeping the station safe on a rolling deck.
Stonefish glide low above gravel, leaving faint dust trails while the group stays calm and untouched.
A moray circles the crevice mouth, and 2 stonefish press forward with spines raised in slow motion.
A stonefish yawns wide, then settles back onto gravel, blending into the mottled bottom with calm control.
Baited branch lines clip on and drop in steady cadence, keeping the set smooth and untangled at the stern.
The tall steel hull runs steadily, scuppers draining as spray curls off heavy rub rails in open water.
Camouflaged stonefish creep across boulders, then fade into deeper blue as the seabed stays quiet.
Night checks confirm tubs and lash points stay secure, keeping the system ready for hauling at first light.
A baited hook hangs above gravel, and a stonefish inches closer as the branch line begins to steady. Small fish peck and dart away, and the hook swings low as silt puffs rise over gravel. A stonefish creeps closer with mouth flaring, and smaller fish scatter as the hook hovers above rubble. The circle hook seats at the jaw corner, and tension transfers cleanly into leader, swivel, and braided mainline. A hooked stonefish thrashes hard, gravel dust blasting as swivels stay aligned under steady, abrasive load. The stonefish gets pulled off the bottom, twisting hard as the leader stays fully tight with visible hardware.
The hauler turns at controlled speed, maintaining constant pressure so the hook stays seated during violent surges.
A surface boil shows the jaw corner hook as a taut leader cuts through chop beside steel plating.
A sling supports the stonefish at the tuna door, and puncture-proof gloves keep handling safe around venom spines.
Thrash bursts hit wet mats, and controlled rope handling keeps distance while the fish stays contained.
One stonefish slides into the aerated tank under sling control, staying straight and intact with calm, real bubbles.
Fresh bait gets clipped and dropped again, keeping the system cycling smoothly while seas begin to build. 2 stonefish converge slowly near the bait, and tension builds as both angle toward the hook above gravel. The hook seats at the jaw corner, and the leader tightens hard as the fish tries to wedge into rocks. A red ring jelly pulses above gravel, adding calm contrast between hauling cycles and rising swell.
A distant 6-gill silhouette glides past, adding scale while the bottom remains quiet and undisturbed.
A distant whale silhouette crosses far above, adding scale while the rocky slope stays calm below. Stonefish creep across rubble while a distant whale shadow passes above, keeping the scene wide and calm.
Tank hoses and clamps get checked, keeping circulation steady and preventing slosh as the vessel rolls.
A stonefish takes bait near gravel, and the leader snaps tight as the hook seats cleanly at the jaw corner. A waterline roll exposes the hook, and a taut leader slices foam beside steel plating in rougher chop.
Hauler rollers turn steadily, and braided line tracks cleanly into tubs, keeping the frame clear of animals.
Two stonefish close in near adjacent hooks, and leader tension starts to build over the gravel bottom. A double hookup hits, and both jaw corner hooks seat as two leaders snap tight above the rubble. Both hooked stonefish surge low along gravel, silt plumes rising as swivels and chafe sleeves stay visible. Both fish get dragged upward, twisting hard as leaders stay tight and hardware stays clearly visible.
Swell grows and the bow pitches, while scuppers pour water and the hull stays steady in open ocean.
Crew braces in stronger roll, controlling hauler speed and keeping hands clear rollers under steady load.
Twin leaders cut through foam beside steel plating, and jaw corner hooks flash briefly in rough chop. Twin landing continues in heavy spray, keeping hooks visible and leaders controlled as the hauler holds tension.
Both stonefish thrash on wet mats, and controlled rope handling keeps movement contained around venom spines.
Two stonefish slide into the aerated tank together, and real bubbles keep them separated in rolling seas.
Bait prep stays fast under spray, and branch lines drop again while the system cycles cleanly.
Two hooked stonefish thrash along gravel, single-headed and natural, as jaw corner hooks stay visible. A jelly pulses in darker water near rocks, creating a calm beat between storm-hauling surges. A distant tiger shark silhouette passes far above, adding scale while the bottom remains calm and dark.
Storm chop intensifies beside the hull, spray flying as scuppers drain and the ship holds course.
Hauler load rises and speed gets adjusted smoothly, keeping line tracking clean into tubs through heavy spray.
A stonefish tries to wedge into rocks, but the leader stays tight as the jaw corner hook holds under load.
A hooked stonefish boils at the waterline, hook visible, and the leader stays tight through turbulent foam.
One stonefish slides into bubbling seawater, and circulation keeps the tank stable in heavy roll.
Thrashing intensifies on wet mats, and hook clearing stays controlled with puncture-proof gloves and strict spacing.
One stonefish slides into bubbling seawater, and circulation keeps the tank stable in heavy roll.
Branch lines drop again as waves slam the rail, keeping the operation moving through growing wind.
Two hooked fish pull opposite angles, and aligned swivels prevent twist while leaders stay tight.
Twin leaders slice foam beside steel plating, and jaw corner hooks flash as the sea heaves higher.
Heavy gusts hit the deck, and twin landing stays controlled as the sling keeps both fish aligned.
A distant whale fades into blue, adding scale while the bottom scene stays quiet between hookups. Another hookup seats the hook, and gravel dust erupts as the leader snaps tight without slack. The hooked stonefish gets dragged fast along gravel, thrashing hard as visible hardware holds steady under load.
A hooked fish boils under the surface in split-level view, leader tight beside tall steel plating.
The fish hits the mats and stays straight, and long tools remove the hook safely around venom spines.
Several stonefish circle slowly inside the aerated tank, and real bubbles keep them separated under steady flow.
Peak storm swell lifts and drops the hull, foam streaking aft as scuppers pour water nonstop.
Hauler rollers turn steadily and braided line tracks cleanly into tubs, with calm lighting and no added effects.
A final big take seats the hook at the jaw corner, and dust trails bloom as the fish powers away.
One single-headed stonefish breaks near the hull, hook visible, and the leader stays tight through foam.
A sling lifts the heavy fish through the tuna door, and controlled thrashing hits wet mats in cold spray.
Transfers stay fast and controlled, keeping bodies straight as fish move into bubbling seawater with calm pacing and realistic motion only.
Washdown clears slime and salt, and hooks get stowed safely to end hauling with disciplined cleanup.
A jelly pulses above rocks in quiet darkness, creating a calm beat after the hardest storm hauling. Seas ease slightly and the hull steadies, scuppers draining as foam streaks aft in gray water.
Crew secures tubs and branch lines, then checks tank clamps, preparing for clean processing without rushing.
A wide deck shows bubbling tanks holding many stonefish, linking hard effort to controlled holding and safety. Inside the tank, stonefish circle slowly in bubbles, staying separated as circulation keeps oxygen steady.
Puncture-proof mats and long tools get staged, keeping spine-safe handling ready for the cleaning phase.
Untouched stonefish creep along gravel, blending back into camouflage as the bottom returns to calm.
The hull runs on in calmer swell, plating glistening as the operation transitions from storm to recovery. Gear gets strapped and secured, tank bubbling in the background as the crew resets the station. Crew celebrates beside a piled catch of stonefish, bodies aligned as gray seas roll behind the rail.
Yeah, nice one, boys. All right, let's get back to it.
Seawater hoses rinse sand from warty skin, keeping fish straight on puncture-proof mats in cold spray.
Venom spines get clipped with long tools, and handling stays careful and controlled without any drama.
Careful knife work lifts clean fillets, keeping cuts precise and the deck orderly under steady spray. Fillets pack into ice slurry totes, and clamped lids lock in fast chilling for cold chain control.
The 150-meter vessel returns to port at sunset, wake steady as warm sky reflects on calm water.
Sealed totes get strapped for transfer, keeping the cold chain tight without labels or visible text.
Insulated totes roll into a luxury kitchen, and cold chain handling stays calm and methodical.
A male chef inspects chilled fillets with gloves, nodding once as staff prepare a precise seafood service.
Fillets get portioned and dried, then set on trays as the kitchen keeps a clean and quiet rhythm.
Portions sear gently with light steam, and the process stays realistic without flames or exaggerated effects.
Plates get finished with clean sauce strokes and small greens, keeping presentation precise and luxury focused.
Plated dishes line up under warm lights, and male staff move in sync with quiet precision. Men taste the stonefish dish calmly, marble and warm lighting framing a top-tier luxury dining experience.
Satisfied nods follow each bite, and the table stays orderly with clean settees and soft, warm light.
Back aboard, gear gets boxed and coiled, preparing the deck for the next industrial longline cycle safely.
Final washdown clears the steel deck, drains running as the station returns to clean order after the storm.
At sunset, the vessel rests near the breakwater, calm water reflecting the hull in wide silence.
The luxury restaurant glows at night, closing the story with calm prosperity and strict cold chain discipline.